So here's another video topic. Hi, John. Would you mind covering the homosexual slant on the Bible? I can't believe a loving God would discriminate against anyone's sexuality. If you've previously covered this, I apologize for asking. Don't apologize. I've touched on this in many videos, but I think let's do a video that's straight at it, straight at the topic. Homosexuality in the Bible. How many of you want to take Paul out behind the woodshed and get a switch? Paul was not a nice man, and Paul, the marriage between a man and a woman, and in Leviticus, you do not lay with one of the same sex. And the third one that they use all the time, which I think is the most ridiculous one, in the Sodom and Gomorrah story, angels came down to earth, and they were in this person's house, and people came to the house, and this is the quote: "Let them come out so we may be with them." Well, people who want to deny homosexuality say the word "be" means have sex with. So they use that as "be" in the ancient text meant to have sex with. I don't know how many of you would go to someone's house in an ancient time when the outside was nothing but dirt and say, "Come out here so I can have sex with you in the dirt." It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So let's just take that one off the table. You may not lie with another man, right? It's ancient Judaic law. Because it's in the Old Testament. So it really is a Judaic law. Then we get into Paul, who was a Pharisee. Before he became a Christian, he was a Pharisee. Pharisees were very big into celibacy, which is why priests are now celibate, because Paul said, you aren't allowed to have a wife. So he came to his Christianity with very Pharisee beliefs, very Pharisee. I don't know how you say it, Pharisaic, maybe Pharisaic beliefs, Pharisee beliefs, the beliefs of a Pharisee, and so he came to it with that. And then the Pharisees were very much into ancient Judaic law, so he would have absolutely jumped on the not lay with another man's thing, right? But marriage was between a man and a woman. Well, if you think about marriage being between a man and a woman, it literally is about procreating more Christians, procreating more children to become Christians. So the whole concept of homosexuality in all other cultures, it was kind of accepted. In Rome, they had their well-known homosexual relationships. It was very well known. In nature, in general nature, in the animal kingdom, when a population gets out of balance between males and females, a certain percentage become homosexual. And the homosexuality actually increases. So it's a very much part of nature that this is happening, right? When you look at the book of John, it says God is love. And God being love is never wrong. If it's love, if it's truly love, it is not wrong. There is nothing wrong within who or how you love. There's nothing wrong within how you love. There is only wrong in judging love and coming after love to match your own personal beliefs. But the personal beliefs that we have, Paul had this idea where he would say, you come up. Well, let me put it this way: you come up through the Catholic faith, and right after you learn that you can do bad things and only have one place you can come back and be absolved in the confessional, right? They say, okay, now you have hormones, and they say, they don't really say it that way, but when you get to the age where you really are in that state, what happens is they say, okay, at this point you must choose to get married or go into the priesthood, go into the church, or go work in the church. And the people who have the inclinations towards the hormones towards the females of the sex, because Paul said marriage is between a man and a woman, would go off and get married and have kids and create more Catholics. The ones who were afraid of what their beliefs were, how they loved, many of them ended up going into the priesthood. Many of them went and followed the spiritual path because they didn't have the inclinations towards. But in reality, had they had the choice, they might not have done that because they might have gone and loved someone and had that experience of love in their life. And that is a huge statement because, religion has subjugated them by their belief and not allowed them to authentically be themselves and love themselves enough to go, no, I do love someone of the same sex. I do love a man, I do love a woman, depending on which side of the gender you are. Are you a man or a woman? It doesn't really matter. Love is never wrong. If you love someone, love them. Just love them. Don't worry about what the Bible says. The Bible was written, almost 2,000 years ago. It was written almost 2,000 years ago in a patriarchal society and the New Testament is more than 50% written by a Pharisee who believed you should be celibate. And so there's really not much in that Bible that says anything's wrong about homosexuality. There's only a couple little statements, and those statements are based upon a very dark religious belief that, you have to do this or blah, 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 right? And it's just, it makes no sense. It makes no sense in nature either. Not even getting out of religion altogether. It makes no sense in nature. Some people have that inclination. Nothing wrong with that. The key to being here is to be your authentic self. Because if what we all want is unconditional love. And you cannot be loved unconditionally if no one can see you. You cannot be loved unconditionally unless you are your authentic self. Because if they see your fears, your anxieties, your needs, and your wants, they're not seeing you. What they're seeing is your fears, your anxiety, your needs, and your wants. Be your authentic self. Let the chips fall where they may. Love who you want. Love is never wrong. But like lust and hurtful stuff, if you're, no, lust isn't necessarily hurtful. Like I can lust over someone I love. But when it gets out of hand and becomes hurtful or damaging, that's a different animal. That's the physical. Lust is a physical response, whereas love is the feeling of just pure essence of love. So, and the two are not, mutually exclusive. You don't have just lust and just love, but even when you're in lust, you feel like it's love in some form. But and when you're in love, you can often have great lust for your partner. So it doesn't really matter about who you love. It only matters that you do love, and you love yourself equally enough to be who you authentically are. So that's what I have to say about it. The Bible is just a 2,000-year-old book written by men who wanted a religion to grow. And so don't worry about it. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.